it's me MCG here, and today I'm going to be telling the story of how I got into the crazy world of shipping, aka the story of how I discovered my first ship. When I was growing up in the early 2000s, I watched a bunch of cartoons. Most of them I still love to this day, and some of them I just questioned why I even watched in the first place. I was obsessed with a couple of those shows, but I remember one specific show that I used to watch weekly, that I caught up with all the episodes and I played the games online, and that show was Kim Possible. When I first started watching this show, I was instantly hooked and my eyes were glued to the screen like nobody's business. I remember when I was channel surfing and I heard the theme song for the first time. I swear the theme song has lured me in like a fish on a hook. But I stayed because of the amazing characters and the good plotlines that this show had. But what really drove the show home for me was the relationship between Kim and Ron. Because at the time I felt this pairing was different to all the pairings I was exposed to in the past through various Disney films and other films that I watched when I was little. Throughout the various seasons we got to see these characters interact with each other, the good and the bad times, and also see them grow as a pairing as well. And I just found that really captivating when I was little. However, I didn't really notice I was obsessed until Kim Possible Soda Drama aired. I remember I was at my old grandma's house and I was sitting in her bedroom and the film was about to come on. I was so excited. My cousin was sitting next to me and he was going to watch the film with me, but I don't think he was prepared for what I was going to do in like the next hour and a half. I literally couldn't contain myself throughout the entire film. I was squealing, I was screaming inside. I literally was bouncing up and down. I was just so excited because this film is finally coming out, and yes, I cried. I cried a lot. But the biggest moment when I knew that I shipped Kim and Ron was the final scene of that movie, which was their first proper kiss. Now, they kissed before, well, technically they only kissed once, but I count the Kim kissing him on the cheek in the Christmas episode, sort of counts, I suppose. But Emotion Sickness, when they kissed there, I was like, oh my gosh, but it was under the Moodulator, so it didn't really count as their first proper kiss until the Soda Drama one. And oh my goodness, when that kiss happened, I screamed my little fangirl heart out. I didn't care who was sleeping next door. I didn't care that my grandma was in the next room trying to watch something on TV. I was screaming and I couldn't control myself at all. And my cousin was just looking at me like I was some crazy little monkey, because I probably was that night actually. I was just crazy that night. I couldn't control myself. And I remember my grandma coming in from the next room and telling me to be quiet. It was the funniest thing, but I was just such an emotional state that I literally couldn't really hear her that much, because I was just thinking about Kim and Ron all the time. And then when I realised that I shipped them was when I couldn't sleep. I literally couldn't sleep that night because they kissed and it was all I ever wanted from the show, just for them to get together as a couple and realise their feelings for each other. That's all I wanted, and you know, all the other stuff as well to do with like Jack and Shigo and that lot, but that's later on. What I realised when I was lying awake that night, that I always supported these two. I wanted these two to get together from the very start, even before they had glorious amounts of hints from like season 3 onwards. I just wanted them to, I guess, figure out their feelings and confess to each other, and they did just that in Soda Drama, and it was overall a beautiful night. It was a beautiful night, and I couldn't sleep for hours on end. I literally was thinking about these two so much, and the movie, because the movie was good on its own. It was really good, but Kim and Ron were on my mind that night, and it made me realise that supporting these two really made me happy. I loved their relationship ever since I first started watching the show, and also the movie just completed it for me. It literally completed their relationship so much, with them just getting together. It made me an emotional wreck, and I would never forget that. Back then I didn't know if Kim Possible was going to get a season 4 or not, and I thought it just ended, but I thought it was a good ending for the show, until 2 years later when I found out that it came back, and I was like, why didn't anybody tell me? The next few days after that fateful premiere night, I realised that I supported a lot more parents than I thought I did. Some of the parents included Danny and Sam from Danny Phantom, Arnold and Helga from Hey Arnold, Aang Katara from Avatar The Last Airbender, Jimmy and Cindy from Jimmy Neutron, and Cookie and Wally from Codename Kids Next Door. Those parents were just some of the childhood parents that I shipped back in the day, and maybe I'll talk about them in depth one day. And that's the story how one fictional relationship led me into a crazy spiral of supporting other fictional relationships. I hope you guys enjoyed this storytime video, and before I go, I'd like to give my quick thoughts on the recently announced Kim Possible live action movie. I don't know what it's going to be like because they recently announced it, and also the casting has just begun, so I don't know who they're going to cast for this movie. Hopefully they'll cast some good people to portray these characters in the best of their ability. Also, since we know that Bob and Mark, the creators of Kim Possible, are actually writing the script, I am positive that they'll bring a good script, and hopefully with the right cast and the right people, they'll come together and bring us a great movie. Hopefully Disney Channel will knock this out of the park, because I know they need ratings because they probably have knocked down ratings, and because of all the sitcoms that they air. I'm not even going to say anything about those sitcoms, but you know what, let's hope that this Kim Possible movie will be good, because we don't know what's going to happen until it comes, and I really hope it's good. Just have to wait until a trailer, which will probably won't come until maybe next year, or maybe later on this year, I don't know, probably next year. But who knows what this movie is going to be like until we actually see some material. And that is it. If you guys like to catch up with me on social media, the links will be down in the description below, and I'll see you guys soon for another video. Bye guys, bye!